week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, started making some noise in the alternator side of things.
Well, first.
So while we were replacing power steering, so we thought, you know what, we better order an alternator or get it rebuilt or whatever. So I looked for the Delco Gold. This is a 160. Standard, I think, is 145 on that, maybe. So we got a 160. And picked up a Delco accessory kit, which is tensioner, idler, and a new belt. Because I know when we bought that truck with 90-ish thousand miles, I don't think we've ever replaced the serpentine.
Has 180 on it.
And you also get a AC belt, which that doesn't work right now, so that can stay right there. But the big dog right there. So pretty soon, once we finish cleaning up our mess, we're gonna put on a new tensioner, new idler, new alternator, and new belt to go along with our new power steering line, or power steering pump that we put on a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's been a busy automotive 2 weeks here in Minnesota. Is Rust.
Well, we're going on 2 rescues in 24 hours right at the moment.
So last night, after dark, and it's 0 and 20 below wind chill-ish, I had to go recover our old Trailblazer in the family off the side of the road. Dead battery. We diagnosed that as a bad alternator. Too bad the old Delco Gold will not put on that. But that poor thing is on its way out, I think. And then we helped we got some blow-by on that. And then we helped a friend of the family recover their dead battery in their Honda Accord.
They're newish Honda Accord.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll be back in a bit. Got the shop cleaned up from our last couple jobs. Gonna get that other Suburban in here. She's coming. Comes. Growly alternator and all. Yeah, you can hear it pretty good. Yeah, she's making the noise. Straight. Alright. Put those good winter tires on there. Good. Get we got fancy weather stripping here. Get our door shut. And wedge. And we'll get working on this guy. Get it locked up. Boom. And so your DR44 is a 145, and this guy is a 160. So I guess this is the biggest that you can do without having to get a different belt size, from what our research indicates. So you can get, plow alternators that are 200 or 250 or whatever. But 160 will be just fine for us. And getting the belt off. It's fun when that locks you in place, isn't it? So we replaced power steering stuff, and then all of a sudden it started making noise not too long later. And we thought, great, now the pump went out. But it was up here. Let's give that a spin for us, please. Yeah, listen to that. Yeah, that should be.
The pulley also has a bit of a wobble.
Yeah, so you got a little something going on. That should be quiet. So, anyway, got the new one going in. She makes noise, but it spins forever. We just get new everything. They're cheap if you're in here. Well, that spins nice.
What?
Or replace that too. So these are a couple bolts, and then you gotta kind of wiggle it out. These, they're kind of a, I don't know what you call it, kind of a sleeve that they ride inside. Lift that straight up and then pull it out. Cold plastic. Kind of a sleeve they ride inside. You gotta get loose a little bit and then come. So we'll get there. Tensioner pulley bolts on those two bolts right there. They are both 15 millimeter. I always like to match up our new part with our old part. Looks pretty good. And nice thing about you get a whole assembly is then the pulley is already attached to there. You don't gotta play any games with it and try to get it off. We just get the whole thing, so that's easy. So that is the tensioner. So bolt put back in. The bolt's just underneath, can't really see it very well from that angle. Where are we? We're lost. Wherever. Anyway, yeah, so that sneaks right in right there. Give it a little. Yeah, it turns okay. From there. And because I am my father's son, this is still good enough. So I'm gonna write on here what it is, and we're gonna save it, and we're gonna throw it in a parts bin over there, because if you're broke down on the side of the road, you got one spare one to go with $0. So idler, bolt hole right there. Comes out another 15 mil, and again, I like to line it up, look like the part that it came with, looks like to me. And these have a, not really a lock washer, but those look like the same things that are on the wheel studs that hold like a rotor on from the factory line. So they kind of come with a new bolt for you. We do a little Loctite and snug her back down. 2010, 5.3, okay. I don't want to say good, because it's definitely got some wear. You can feel it there, but like I said, in a pinch, for $0, just for having to remember it's there. Oh, good. And the alternator is out to 15 mil plus. These just have a, there we go, 2-prong plug. You lift, pry the bottom up, lift that, the bottom part right there, pry that out a little bit, boop, should come right off. Nice plug in there. And then the wire that goes on the back. Now, if your battery's still connected, which ours foolishly is, that's live. So don't play games with that one right there. And then what we've learned is if you kind of pushing things back in a little bit and tap them in, it's a lot easier to get the new alternator in. So, again, in our same category of does everything appear to fit the right way, we will spin that guy over. So we've got mounting hole, battery, connector, wiring, two-prong addition, bolt hole, to your battery, two-prong addition right there. So as you can see, it definitely is just a little bit bigger physically. I don't know what's going on up there either. A little bit bigger physically, but we got 15 more amps, so happily take that guy right there. It actually looks super close, doesn't it? Super close. But that is, like I said, the alternate size you could get. In this is a utilitarian Suburban. This was a old government military one. Rubber floor mats, all that. That's why there's no trim on the sides. It's not an LS, it's not an LT, it's not an LTZ. It did come with these steel wheels, factory. We had another set we put on them. But it has all the skid plates and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of surprised it didn't have the biggest battery or biggest alternator, but we'll get her done. One thing that is helpful, you get a punch and a dead blow when you are fine-tuning your alternator. So put the 2 bolts back in right there. You see the threads poking out there. One plastic connector under there. One 12-volt P right there. And we're putting on the new belt. Boy, this thing's got all the treats. No treating the old
Nope,
Dubsky.
that's not right.
Right. Now over, under, over on the top.
Yep. Whatever he said.
Yeah. And then under, over, under on the bottom. We'll get it running soon. And there we go. That was it. So, new belt, new pulleys, new tensioner, this alternator. She makes some noise. By 3, noise! So we will get this one rebuilt. And then we'll have a spare. We just got a new Delco one. It's a Delco Gold, so they're not like the OEM, but I think it was $180. It'll cost almost that much to get an OEM one rebuilt. So no complaints with that. We're gonna kick a couple fans on, dry off our melted snow, and on to the next project. Speaking of next project, so in the near future, never mind the stickers, you see that same Suburban, we ran into some low oil pressure issues, and so we did kind of an engine flush that helped. It brought it like 15 pounds of pressure back. But oil pan O-ring. This is the overpressure switch that's in the pan. This is the hat that you put on those now to help with oil. To get the oil pan off, you gotta take out the front diff on the 4-wheel drive. Seals for the front diff because they're leaking anyway. And new oil pan gasket for that. So you'll see that on the channel too. Okay, thank you much. Minnesota.